fed up parents gave heated testimony on Capitol Hill yesterday. They want the Department of Justice to stop labeling them as domestic terrorists and treading on their rights. NTD's Daniel Monahan has the report.
Congressman Mike Johnson says the National School Boards Association colluded with the Biden administration. The congressman says federal law enforcement officers were inserted into local school board meetings.
The vilification of concerned parents by this administration is a gross assault by the federal government.
Johnson says the First Amendment protects a parent's right to speak and advocate for their children.
But that right has been significantly stifled over the past few years because the leftists have decided they apparently know better than parents do.
But Representative Mary Gay Scanlon sees things differently. She says the attempt to turn classrooms into the epicenter of divisive culture wars is the real First Amendment threat.
Extremists are imposing their beliefs on all students and parents through library book bans, bans on certain subjects in the public school curricula, and censorship of educators.
Nicole Neily is the president of Parents Defending Education. She says moms and dads became fearful after the DOJ issued a memorandum. It directed the FBI to create a domestic terrorist file. The file was intended to capture evidence from parental protests.
Parents have a constitutional right to assemble, to speak, to petition their government for a redress of grievances.
But airing these concerns, she says, is now viewed by elected officials as violent, offensive, or hateful. Tiffany Justice, a co-founder of the parents group Moms for Liberty, says parents have the fundamental right to direct the upbringing of their children.
Parental rights do not stop at the classroom door. We do not co-parent with the government.
Justice reflected on the frustration parents felt during the pandemic, with schools closed with no end in sight, as their children's development regressed and depression and anxiety increased.
And then they turned to their school boards to try to understand why it was okay for people to gather and riot in the streets and not for children to gather and learn in classrooms.
But she says parents were silenced and the FBI was used as a weapon against them by the Department of Justice. But Representative Gerald Nadler says there is little evidence for such claims, calling it a non-existent conspiracy. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.